righty, folks. It is 7 o'clock on the dot. It is 7 o'clock. I call this meeting of the Farmville Planning Commission to order. We will have a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Patterson,
Present.
Mr. Davenport,
Here.
Dr. Miller,
Here.
Ms. O'Connor,
Here.
Mr. Weiss,
Here.
Mr. Crute,
Here.
Ms. Furley.
Here.
All righty. Having had an opportunity to review the agenda, would love a motion to approve when ready.
Move to approve it as submitted.
Second.
It has been moved in second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All righty, with this being our first meeting of the calendar year, it is our annual organizational meeting tonight. And so we will start with the election of officers. Just given that I am termed out in terms of 2 consecutive years as chair, we will need to have a new chair elected tonight. And so I will now open the nomination and election of a chairperson. Is there a motion from the floor?
I'd like to nominate Dr. Miller.
Dr. Miller's been nominated. Is there a second to that nomination?
Second.
It's been moved in second. Are there any additional nominations from the floor? Hearing none, all of those in favor, Madam Clerk, do you want a roll call on that? Perfect. So all of those in favor of nominating Dr. Miller to serve as chairperson of the Farmville Planning Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Dr. Miller has been elected. And I will turn it over to Dr. Miller to carry out the remainder.
Our next item of business is, you want to switch seats?
Yeah, we can switch.
Okay. Man, the seat's so much more comfortable. Gosh almighty. Oh, Lord. Our next item of business is the nomination and election of a vice chairperson. The floor is now open for nominations for vice chair. Do I hear any nominations?
I'll nominate Jerry Davenport for vice chair.
Mr. Davenport, do you accept?
Second that.
Okay, second. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? If there are no other nominations, consider this closed. All those in favor of electing Jerry Davenport vice chairperson, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Davenport.
Thank you.
The floor is now open for nominations for secretary. Do I hear any nominations?
I would nominate Abby to be our secretary,
Okay, Ms. Carney,
but I'm
so-
going to verify with Ms. Austin to make sure we're good in terms of consecutiveness. Have you been 2 years?
No, I think this is just my first.
Oh, okay.
I
Well, you're
think
good
this
to
is
go?
just one.
Cool.
Second. Okay, it's been motion and seconded. Any other nominations for secretary? Okay, nominations are closed. All those in favor of electing Ms. O'Connor secretary, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations, everybody, and thank you very much for serving. Our next item of business is the consideration of the minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes as presented? Any edits to the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and it's seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Our next item of business is public participation. Speakers have 3 minutes to make statements on non-agenda items. Ms. Watkins, has anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to speak in the audience? All right. Our next item of business is public hearing, CUP 25001. Robert A. Scott requests a conditional use permit to allow for a single-family residence in a B2 transitional commercial zoning district. The site is located at 709 East 3rd Street, consists of one parcel, tax map number 0023A902050001B, containing 2.226 acres. Do I hear a motion to open up the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The public hearing is now open. Ms. Atkins Wilson, would you, Atkins Austin, would you please brief us on the staff report?
Thank you, Dr. Miller. The request is to allow a single-family dwelling detached. The site is located at 709 East 3rd Street and consists of one parcel containing 0.226 acre. The parcel is identified as tax map number 0023A090205-001B. Adjacent commercial uses include general office space and retail space. There are single-family dwellings to the rear of the property on Longwood Avenue. There is an existing dwelling on the site that has been vacant for more than 2 years. Per Town Code Section 2941-2, if any nonconforming use, structure, or activity is discontinued for a period exceeding 2 years after the enactment of this chapter or amendment thereto, it shall be deemed abandoned, and any subsequent use shall conform to the requirements of this chapter. Staff reviewed the last date the structure was connected to town utilities to determine if the use had been discontinued for a period exceeding 2 years. According to staff in the finance department, the last time this location was active or billed for water and sewer utilities was prior to the switch to Edmunds, which was completed in 2019. There are no standards for this specific use listed in Section 2935 of the zoning ordinance. The future land use map of the comprehensive plan designates this area as mixed-use commercial. The mixed-use commercial category is intended to be transitional zone between downtown commercial areas and residential neighborhoods. The site is located within the East 3rd Mixed-Use Gateway, a focus planning area in the comprehensive plan. The goal in developing the East 3rd Mixed-Use Gateway area is to establish a niche community that can live, work, and play in one location while inviting other citizens in to enjoy the amenities the area offers. The application appears to meet the standards for review of conditional use permits set forth in Section 2913C1 of the town zoning ordinance. The application is consistent with the future land use map of the comprehensive plan. There are no significant impacts to the capacities of the utility or transportation systems, and there are no significant impacts to environmental impacts to the site or adjacent properties. There are no staff recommended conditions at this time. No public comments were received, and staff recommends the Planning Commission recommend approval of CUP 25-002 to allow a single-family residence in a B2 transitional commercial district on parcel 0023A090205-001B. That is all I have for the staff report. I can answer any questions about the staff report, or the applicant is in the audience if you have questions about the project itself.
Any questions for Ms. Atkins Wilson?
I have one.
Yes.
Just, I couldn't tell when I drove by it and from the photo with the snow. Is there off-street parking for this?
I can't tell from the snow in the picture either, but I believe there is enough space for off-street parking, but the applicant
Okay, the
can
applicant
probably
maybe
answer that better.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, please.
Good evening, yes. There is space enough. Our plan is to basically gravel the front yard, so there'll be plenty of space for, 2-3 vehicles to turn around, do what they need to do, and not have any street. We wouldn't want anybody cluttering the street. We just want to make the existing parking better. They were just pulling up in basically a small graveled spot, and we want to expand that in the front yard so that more than one person can park there adequately.
Other questions? Mr. Scott, do you want to elaborate on do you have an opportunity, if you care to elaborate on the application and anything else you want to say?
Basically, our general thought, we felt like this was a good opportunity to purchase a property that was derelict, improve it aesthetically. We feel like it was better for the town to have a functional home that, you know, gives people a place to live. I keep hearing from young people that it's hard to find a place to rent in Farmville or to buy a starter home. We felt like this would be a perfect place to do that, and a chance to take an abandoned home and, you know, make it better. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other speakers? Anybody signed up, Ms. Watkins?
No, sir.
All right. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
All right. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we'll move on to our deliberation of the application. Are there anyone care to share their thoughts, perspectives?
I think it seems pretty straightforward, fits the use of the area based on the gateway for the comp plan. And always good to see derelict properties get a new life. And so if there is no other comments, I would motion to approve CUP 25-001 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion, and there's been a second. Is there any further conversation or discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add one condition, which is that the applicant do what the applicant just said, that they're going to provide off-street parking adequate for the residents of the property.
Is that, okay. Mr. Patterson, are you comfortable with that friendly amendment?
I would be fine with that.
Okay, so I believe the motion now reads, the Planning Commission recommends approval of the CUP 25001 to the Town Council with the condition that there be improved parking surface in front of the structure. Is that
Which is adequate for the residents.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's been motion and second. Any further conversation? Any additional comments? Ms. Watkins, could you take a roll call vote, please?
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Mr. Davenport,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Crute,
Yes.
Dr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Fraley.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes. Thank you all very much for contributing to affordable housing and cleaning up our town. Thank you all very much. Our next item of business is a familiar one, public hearing, REZ 225-001. Request for amendment to the official zoning map to rezone approximately 1.297 acres from R1 to B3. The site is located at 190 Millenwood Road and consists of parcel number 0023A090A00030B. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion made.
Second.
There's been a motion and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Ms. Atkins, awesome.
Thank you. The request is to rezone one parcel, tax map number 0023A090A00-030B, containing approximately 1.297 acres from R1 low-density residential to B3 highway commercial. The rezoning aims to designate all Dominion Energy, Virginia Electric and Power Company owned parcels in the East 3rd Street Millwood Road area to the same zoning district. Dominion Energy proposes to rezone this parcel as part of its project to expand the existing facilities and operations of the existing Dominion Energy site. This rezoning, combined with the rezoning case presented to the Planning Commission at the December meeting, would zone all Dominion Energy-owned parcels in this area to B3. There is an existing communication tower on the parcel. This use is allowed by conditional use permit in both the R1 and B3 zoning districts. Virginia Power received a conditional use permit for the communications tower in January of 1999. The initiation of change was made by application of the owner. The request was advertised in the Farmville Herald in the Wednesday, January 1st and Wednesday, January 8th editions. The future land use map shows this area is undesignated, sitting between general commercial and institutional designations. The applicant will coordinate with Public Works on using and/or abandon existing town utilities on the site. The proposed expansion to the Dominion Energy site is not expected to have an impact on town streets or the transportation system. There are no known environmental impacts on the subject site. No public comments were received. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of REZ 25-001 to amend the official zoning map to rezone parcel number 0023A090A00-030B from R1 High Density Residential to B3 Highway Commercial. I can take any questions about the staff report at this time, and the applicant is in the audience if you have any questions about the project.
Are there any questions? Any questions? Good to see y'all gentlemen again. I'm assuming we're kind of familiar while we're back here, but do y'all care to brief us again or say, add anything to the public record?
I don't think so.
Okay. Any, Ms. Watkins, anyone sign up to speak?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, so let's kind of shift to deliberation. Commissioners, what do y'all think?
I think given what we did last time, this makes a lot of sense to
Right, I
add
think,
this to it, yeah.
yeah, I think the applicants did exactly what we asked them to do.
Mr. Wise, you comfortable? Sure. Mr. Crute? All right, y'all were kind of eagle-eyed to recognize this last time. Do I hear a motion then to approve, to recommend approval, recommend approval for the amendment to the official zoning map?
I so move.
Okay, Mr.
Second.
Weiss has moved. Mr. Davenport has seconded. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Ms. Watkins?
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Mr. Davenport,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Crute,
Yes.
Dr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Fraley.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes. Thank you very much. Our next item of business is an associated public hearing and recommendation. CUP is public hearing CUP 25-002. Holly Johnson, on behalf of Dominion Energy, requests a conditional use permit to allow a public maintenance and service facility to support a public utility per town code, section 29, Tech 13C. The site consists of approximately 1.297 acres on one parcel located at 190 Millwood Road. Parcel is identified as tax map number 0023A090A00030B. Do I hear a motion to open up the public hearing?
Motion to open the public hearing.
Mr. Davenport's motion. Do I hear a second? Mr. Crute is seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right. Ms. Atkinson?
Thank you. The request is to allow a public maintenance and service facility to support a public utility. The parcel was not included in the original request for conditional use permit that was heard by the Planning Commission at the December 18th, 2024 meeting. The site consists of approximately 1.297 acres and is located at 190 Millwood Road. The parcel is identified as tax map number 0023A090A00-030B. Adjacent commercial uses include the existing Dominion Energy site and property that was included in the conditional use permit case for the expansion of the Dominion Energy site that was heard by the Planning Commission at the December 18th meeting. There is one single-family dwelling to the north of the site on Longwood Avenue. The property is bordered to the west by Farmville Moose Lodge and to the Longwood University athletic fields further to the west. The proposal is to construct a covered vehicle storage facility and paved parking on the subject site. The future land use map shows the area as undesignated, sitting between general commercial and institutional designations. The applicant will coordinate with Public Works on using and/or abandoning existing town utilities on the site. The proposed expansion to the Dominion Energy site is not expected to have an impact on town streets or the transportation system. There are no known environmental impacts on the subject site. No public comments were received. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of CUP 25-000002 to allow a public maintenance and service facility to support a public utility at parcel 0023 A09-0A00-030B with the following conditions. The outside storage for supplies, materials, or heavy equipment must be in the rear yard and screened from any non-industrial zone parcels or rights-of-way in accordance with the landscape section of this chapter. Outside storage area shall not exceed 35% of the total area of the site. If the subject CUP is approved, a site plan is required for this development, which meets all ordinance requirements. In accordance with the zoning ordinance, the plan will be submitted to the Planning Commission for review and approval. Which those are the exact same conditions that we approved with the last conditional use permit. I can answer any questions at this time about the staff report, and the applicant is in the audience.
Questions for Ms. Atkins? Awesome. Any questions? Okay. Y'all care to say anything? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Crew.
So, because the cup was approved in December, only 190 has to be the parcel identified. Okay, and so when you're suggesting that outside storage be conditioned, how are we defining outside storage?
Outside the storage is defined in the zoning code. I could pull it up. I don't have it memorized what outdoor storage is defined.
Vehicles or?
So this, what they would have on this lot is a covered storage.
Right.
I'm not sure that that would be considered outside storage.
All right, I'll save my next question. I'll save my next question for the applicant.
Other questions for Ms. Atkins? Awesome.
I do have one now. Ashley, last month, Ms. Fraley had listed some conditions that are in the minutes. Is there a reason you didn't carry those over to your list of conditions, or just didn't happen?
I just missed them.
Okay, all right. Very good.
Do those need to be added to the recommendation?
Maybe. It probably would be a good idea to add those
I mean, I was
so that
gonna-
they are consistent.
I was going to
with
recommend we
last
include them
Okay.
nonetheless when we get to motion time.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you. Other questions? Other questions? Gentlemen, do y'all care to speak or add anything? I know we have at least one question for you.
Sure. So happy to take any questions and just want to express gratitude to staff for coordinating and collaborating with us in the days leading up to the Christmas holiday on making sure that we got this done in a timely manner and with you all for good governance. I was going to bring up the other conditions that were on the cup that was recommended at the last meeting. I think it would be a good idea just for make it clean. You know, this effort was in the pursuit of good governance, so I think let's just make both conditional use permits match up.
Mr. Croop, you got a question?
So, let me just fact check myself here real quick. Yeah, so the way I read this, again, like now, because the cup was approved in December, conditioned as it was, now only 190 is in this cup. So I think some of those conditions are non sequitur in this situation. But my question to you all is, so the 35% outdoor storage, when it's only one parcel, is not quite as large as when it's all of them. And so I guess question part one is, what's outside of the vehicle covered storage? Like, it looks like it's just parking spaces. Is that the case? And do you all have any concerns about what's going to be located down there? To be very clear, if y'all are good, I'm good. I just, you know.
Thank you for the question and clarification. I think we want to make sure we're all good this time around for sure. Yeah, the only storage, and to Ashley's point, covered storage, I'm not sure if zoning ordinance considers that outdoor storage or not, but that's the only storage on that parcel. Everything else in there is either parking or the tower itself. So even if we did have to hold that covered storage to the 35%, just blind eye, it looks like it would be less than 35% of the parcel.
Awesome.
Other questions for the applicant? Ms. Watkins, you want to sign up to speak to this?
No, sir.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second?
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We'll now move to deliberation. Let's see.
My only comment again is to include the conditions from, that Jennifer mentioned from the last minutes, from the last meeting, and they're in the minutes anyway from the last meeting. They're listed in the minutes. I think one is now moot, though.
I am reading what those conditions were, and one of those was to eliminate the interior lot lines. I'm not sure that you want to eliminate the interior lot lines for this parcel with the conditional use permit for the cell tower, the communications tower. So when we move, if we do move this forward to town council, they should probably keep that as a separate parcel that has that CUP on it for the cell tower. So we might have to hear this as two separate cases for town council.
Explain your reasoning or concern again. I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow.
Because the parcel that the communications tower is on has a CUP for that parcel. So if you eliminate the interior lot lines and combine it all into just one parcel, then does it still have that conditional use permit?
Yes.
But then it
So
applies
is your concern
to-
that they can move the cell tower to another
then it
part of the
would
property?
apply it to the whole property and not that one.
Is that your concern, or there's going to be more than one cell tower?
You can't pick it up and move it, but it then is, could they build another one, or, you know, it then is not just that one parcel that has that CUP for the
It's
cell
whole
tower.
lot. Yeah. That makes sense.
I
So it might-
understand the concern, but your concern, I'm not concerned about that. But I understand your point.
Yeah, so I don't think, like I don't think any of these are applicable now, because we're talking about one lot. Whereas before, we were talking about multiple lots, the topography of which was different. Like in this cup, we're only talking about lot 190. So even cell phone and previous cup aside, like we're abandoning the lot lines of one lot in adjacent to what? Like they're two separate cups. And so then again, like we're talking about, you know, road access on a lot that has no road access. So I just think they're non sequitur to include in this cup, whereas before, because it was multiple lots and it had road access, like I mean, it made sense then.
I would motion that we approve REZ 25-001 as presented.
There's been a motion to recommend approval of the
I'm sorry.
CUP
Yes.
25002.
Steps away from the chair and just stops paying attention.
I'm used to somebody else making the motions. Yes, CUP 25-002.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to approve recommendation of CUP 25002. Is there any additional discussion?
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss.
Yes.
Mr. Davenport,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Crute,
Yes.
Dr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Furley.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes. Our next item of business is new business with the consideration and adoption of the annual report and 25 goals. That was part of the packet. It's a very lengthy report. We accomplished quite a bit this past year. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you very much to staff for all the hard work y'all did. Also, some goals which are pretty standard in terms of requests for council for our professional development, that of the staff. Thank you for all the meetings y'all attend. That was an impressive list of training y'all attend. I'm very grateful for that. Do I hear, is there any conversation, any thoughts?
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we add to the report. I think it would be a healthy thing to dialogue with town council as we start this new calendar year. I think it's a good thing for both bodies to get together to talk through issues and, to kind of hear the perspective of one another. So I would encourage us to add that as a goal.
By dialogue, do you mean like special meetings with them, or like go to their work sessions, or
I think-
both, or something else?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a joint meeting at some point during the calendar year. So I would think probably the easiest thing would be maybe to go to their work session.
Which we can do anyway. They're public meetings, but I agree that we should have more dialogue, bottom line.
Yeah, I think if we call it out, that then allows for it to be specifically focused on commission council instead of a meeting dominated by other issues or business.
Y'all feel comfortable with that?
So we would add that under the 2025 proposed actions and requests and make it a request to have a joint meeting.
Yes, please.
Cam, are you suggesting one meeting or periodic, like quarterly or something like that?
I think you start out with one, but I think periodic is healthy depending on the business at hand. So I would say let the first meeting kind of determine what ongoing looks like.
Do I hear a motion then to approve with the stated revision,
So move.
okay? Been motion?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
No, Ms. O'Connor did.
Our next item of business is the consideration and adoption of 2025 meeting dates, our standard meeting, standard time, with a couple that kind of avoid some conflicts with Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Move to approve. Second.
All right, Mr. Crute's motion, Mr. Davenport seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Our next item of business is the staff and department updates. Thank you all very much for, again, kind of documenting the hard work you're doing and y'all have been doing and some of the other things going on in town. Is there any amplifying information?
Just to report that town council approved with a vote of 6-1, CUP 24-007, which was the mini warehouse storage units on Perry Drive. I think we've all heard what happened with the fence ordinance. Upcoming cases, as of right now, I do not have any upcoming cases for Planning Commission. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, February 19th, 2025, of 2025. BZA will meet Friday, January 24th at 3 p.m. They will hear one appeals case. That's all the staff updates.
All right. Thank you all very much, and thank you again for your hard work. Other items from the commission? Other items of interest? Do I hear then a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh, simultaneous motions. I think I heard it out of my right ear first. Mr. Weiss gets credit. Mr. Davenport, I'll take that as a second then.
Second.
All right. Now wield this mighty gavel. Have a great evening, everybody. Stay safe and warm.